Most Shopify store owners only use paid traffic strategies to drive sales. And it's perfectly understandable because Shopify has been built for e-commerce. Now, if you take the average Google Ads cost per click across all the businesses in different niches in the US, the average cost per click in Google Ads would be $4. And the average cost per click on Facebook would be 50 cents. What's the cost per click in your business? Let me know in the comments. What I'm saying is, paid traffic is expensive, but it doesn't have to be this way. Last year, my Shopify store had 2 million visitors. And if I were to attract the same traffic, the same volume of traffic via Google Ads or Facebook ads, it would have cost me from $1 million to $8 million. How much did I pay? Well, I actually paid nothing because these visitors were organic traffic from Google. And your store might get this kind of traffic too. To get organic traffic, what you need is SEO or search engine optimization. With only a few SEO hacks, you can help search engines to find your website faster, understand what it's about, and rank it above your competitors on the search engine results pages. In this SEO tutorial, I will guide you through the precise steps you need to take to optimize your Shopify store. You'll learn how to set it up for higher rankings and attract organic traffic without spending a dime. I'll be explaining each step in detail, so all you have to do is just watch the video and repeat after me. This Shopify optimization guide has 7 sections: keyword research, general preferences, collections optimization, products optimization, pages optimization, blog post optimization, and website speed optimization. And I promise that if you implement everything from this video, you will start seeing organic traffic within 3 months or so. My name's Anna. I've been doing content marketing for over 15 years, and now I run my own Shopify store that is getting me over 2 million organic visitors a year. I run a content marketing agency, and my mission is to help beginners like you set up their own business and start getting organic traffic using expertise and experience that I picked up working with global brands. If you're watching this video, I assume you already have a Shopify store. So let's start optimizing it so that you could take advantage of the free traffic. And we'll start with selecting your keywords. So what's search engine optimization? I have a separate video for complete beginners, and you might as well want to check it out. The main goal of SEO is for your website to be found when someone types in a search term into the search engine. And to do that, we need search engines to like you. To achieve that, we need to optimize some elements in your Shopify store in such a way that search engines know exactly what your website is about. If we do this right, the search engines will think that your store is the best match for a specific search term. And that's basically what we need. The SEO optimization for any platform starts with knowing your keywords, and Shopify is not an exclusion. So, what is it that you're selling in your store, and which keywords are you targeting? You need to know this before you start any SEO work, okay? So let's break down the process of finding the right keywords for your store. First, we're gonna find one primary keyword that we'll want to rank for, and then we will add 2 supporting keywords. I'll provide an example in just a minute. Your ideal keyword needs to be broad enough to have large volume from search engines, and also specific enough to have less competition and higher chance of ranking. This delicate balance ensures that your content attracts a significant audience while maximizing its rankings in search engines. For example, let's say you're selling women's leather bags. The first keyword you might think of would be a bag, and you don't even need a professional SEO software to guess that this keyword has tons of traffic, probably hundreds of thousands around the globe. Yet it's not that straightforward because there are other words that might be used as primary keywords for your website. For instance, the word purse. So which of these keywords gets to be the primary keyword? How do you define that? Did you know that you can check exactly how many people are searching for this specific keyword in Google for free? Let me show you. To research your keywords, you need a tool called Google Keyword Planner. A lot of people are not even aware about this tool, but believe me, it's an excellent free analytics tool that you can use to start or grow your business. I've got a separate video on Google Keyword Planner, but I'll show you how to get started in this video too. So let's set up Google Keyword Planner now. So go to adsgoogle.com and create a Google Ads account. We will not be running ads. We only need this account to access Google Keyword Planner because it's a part of its functionality. And after you have created a Google Ads account, you can go to Tools and then Keyword Planner. Here you can check out the real-time traffic for keywords you have in mind and research other keywords as well. By the way, it's also an excellent way to research the market size and the trends. So let's say I'm selling leather bags for women in the US. So I'm selecting the US as my main territory. Ideally, I want someone to find my store if they type the term women's leather bags. So I'm going to start with a few keywords that I have in mind, like bags, purses, women's bags, women's purses, etc., etc. I need to start with something, but after I run Google Keyword Planner, it will suggest more keywords for whatever is connected with my niche. So let's see what other keywords the planner will suggest. And by the way, you can also paste a link to your website, and this tool will generate keywords automatically. That's an option if you already have a website with lots of content. So let's pause for a minute and analyze the results and take a look at what data is available on this page. First of all, there are average monthly searches, which is the number of times a specific keyword was searched for in Google within a month on the specified territory. In our case, that would be the US. Then you can see some trends, year-over-year change, and you can see the competition, which has three statuses: high, medium, or low. In the next columns, you can also see ad impression share and top of page bid, and you may disregard these columns because they're only valuable if you're running Google Ads. For the SEO purposes, they're almost useless. The two most important columns that we need to pay attention right now are the average monthly searches and the competition columns. So let's now take a look at the results. And surprisingly, the keyword bags does not have the most searches. It's the keyword purses that has most searches. But it's also too broad, so probably women's purses is a more relevant one for my store. You could use it as a primary keyword for your store if that's what you're selling. The next important piece of information is that competition is high for almost all of these keywords, except the bag shop. This keyword might not have lots of traffic, but it's definitely worth targeting. Now let's just scroll through the suggested keywords and see whether there are some other keywords that mean the same thing but have less competition. For instance, the keyword messenger bag has 135,000 searches and less competition. So if that's what I'm selling, I might consider it. In the keyword planner, you can also filter the keywords based on competition. If you just want to see the keywords with low competition, you can just click this arrow or configure the filter, and there you have it. A lot of interesting ideas. Seeing huge amounts of traffic and low competition is very promising in terms of SEO. So if you ever see that, promise me that you're going to implement this idea. Google Keyword Planner is an excellent tool to generate new business ideas and new revenue streams. Whatever you're selling, after you examine the results, you might have an idea or two as to what's in demand and what you might want to add to your store because there is less competition, for instance. After I have examined the results, my keywords are: my primary keyword is women's purses, and my two secondary keywords are women's messenger bags and bag shop. And remember that you can also use this tool to pick the right keywords for your store's collections, as well as your products. So now that we've identified the keywords you want to rank for, it's essential to integrate them into your Shopify store. This ensures that search engines can locate and prioritize your store for these specific keywords. And remember that search engines can also examine the coding behind your website. So there are some places where these keywords are invisible to the human eye, but still search engines can see that. But don't worry, I'll explain it in detail later in this video. So let's review the most important parts of your Shopify website and how to use keywords to rank above your competitors in the search engines. Now, we know your keywords, and we want to integrate them into a lot of parts of your Shopify store, but we'll start with the general preferences. We need to make sure that your store is named correctly and that you have the right description for your homepage. So to do that, we go to our online store and then we click Preferences here. And you'll see two very important fields here: homepage title and homepage meta description. We want to include our keywords in here. A homepage title is something that you see on the top part of your browser's tab. Your prospects will also see that when they type your brand name in Google. A homepage title and a homepage meta description is something that your visitors or prospects will see if your main page will be ranked on Google or other search engines. This is our title, and this is our homepage meta description. So these fields are pretty important, and it's vital for your primary and secondary keywords to be there. I've already created a prompt for ChatGPT asking it to create a homepage meta description containing those 3 keywords. It created one, but it's a little bit longer, so I'm gonna edit it. Now it looks good, and for the homepage title, I'll assume that my store is called Bag Addicted. So I'm gonna put Bag Addicted Bag Shop, women's purses, and messenger bags. And a little tip that you might want to use here is you might want to include a call to action here. Because whenever someone sees your website on the search engine results pages and they see a call to action, it encourages them to click through your website. So if you have a specific offer, for instance, a discount for a new customer or another important call to action, make sure you mention it. So we're done with the homepage meta description, but we need to do a little bit of techie stuff to tell our search engines what we're about. One of the things we need to check is the sitemap XML. And the sitemap is basically a map of your website. It contains information on all the pages so that search engine robots, instead of going through each and every page on your website, they could only check one file. And since we're using Shopify, the system automatically generates XML sitemaps, which is incredibly helpful. If you already have your store's URL, first you might want to check that it's there. To do that, you need to enter your domain /sitemap XML. And after that, you need to submit this XML file to Google Search Console. And this process involves using code to inform search engines about every link and page on your website, facilitating their inclusion in search results when users enter relevant keywords. And the final technical step would be a domain redirect. We need to check one more important technical thing. Have you ever noticed that sometimes the domain has www before it, and sometimes it just doesn't? Well, that's because your domain is likely to have 2 variations, one with www and one without it. To enhance SEO, we must select one and inform Shopify of our preference. This step is crucial as we aim to rank for a single domain. Ranking for 2 of them simultaneously might cause traffic division and will hinder your rankings eventually. Fortunately, Shopify simplifies this process, making it easy for you to go and specify the domain you want to rank for. And I'll guide you through the steps to make this adjustment seamlessly. In the bottom left corner, click Settings and navigate to the Domains tab. And it'll reveal multiple domain options. One is just your domain name without any symbols preceding it, one with www, and the last one would be your domain name.myshopify.com. I already have a redirect set up, and I think that Shopify often automates this process. If you're redirecting manually, locate the redirect section or use the redirect all domains button at the bottom to choose the one preferred domain. And I would advise you to choose your domain name without www before it. So we are finally done with the general preferences, and the next section we'll be optimizing is collections pages. So let's now move to our collections pages. And to get to our collections pages, we go across to products and we click collections. Now, a mistake that a lot of people do, they just create a collection and leave it as is. That's why their websites don't rank. We don't want to do that for your website. Here's a rule you need to follow if you want to get organic traffic. The more fields you fill in, the better. First, we want to make sure that we have the primary keyword in our heading 1. But of course, the heading has to make sense, so avoid overdoing it. And we want to include our primary and our secondary keywords here. Remember that it's a separate page on your website and it has a separate keyword to rank for. In our case, it's a lucky coincidence that it's the same keyword that I already mentioned as my secondary keyword, women's messenger bags. But it doesn't have to be this way. And our next collection would target a totally different keyword. When it comes to the collection's description, first think about the keyword for this specific page. But then, if it's possible and if it's feasible, include the primary and the secondary keywords from your store. Ideally, the description of your collection should be at least 500 words, because if it's lower than 300, the search engines will have difficulty understanding what this page is about. There is not enough content for them to rank this page. Here's the description I created with the ChatGPT, and obviously I would need to replace this with my store's name. Overall, it looks good. The only thing you might want to do is just check that it included the primary and secondary keywords for your store. And finally, down the bottom, we have this search engine listing preview section, and we're gonna edit it. This is what your prospects might see in Google when they're searching for you and this page comes up. What we can do is we can check out the page title. It's copied automatically from your collection title, but you might want to review it again and make sure that it's descriptive, clear, short, and makes sense overall. And then we create an SEO description here, which has both the primary keyword and the secondary keywords in it. And remember that the whole description has to be under 320 characters. The last, but probably one of the most important things to pay attention to is your URL handle. You want your URL handle to be short, as short as possible. But at the same time, you want it to include a keyword. A huge part of this URL has been already created by Shopify, so you can only modify the collection's URL slug. And what I would advise you to do is just put your keyword here, just as it is. That would be the best option. Now we're going to create an SEO description, and remember that in this text, you also need to motivate the prospect to click and explore the collection. So I created a ChatGPT prompt that goes like this. Create a collections description for a Shopify store under 320 characters for the keyword women's messenger bags. It should motivate the reader to click and explore the collection. And that's what I got. As soon as we get the meta description, we put it down the bottom, and there you have it. Now got your SEO set up for your collection page. Now that our collection page is done, we are going to do the same with the product page. We'll follow the exact same steps with just one important tweak. If you're still here, I admire your dedication to the topic, and hopefully you're enjoying the video. Since creating this video took me about a week, showing your appreciation will be my big joy. So you know what to do. Thank you for watching. Moving next to product pages, you basically have to follow the same pattern with only one tweak. Let me show you what I mean. So the fields here are exactly the same. Title goes in here with your keyword. Obviously, you need to insert your product names here and the keyword for your product, not the entire store. And we have a long description here with our keywords in there as well. In most Shopify themes, for a product description to look good, it doesn't have to be long. So first check what the product description looks like and then experiment with it a little bit. But remember that if you're able to make it over 500 words, that will be beneficial to your store's rankings. Now we briefly check the metadata to make sure everything's correct here, and now you need to add pictures. Before adding pictures, we need to check a few things. First, check that your image size is under 1 megabyte, because chances are you don't need bigger images. We need to make sure that your image size will not be affecting your store's loading speed. And your store's loading speed is crucial for your rankings. We'll get to that closer to the end of this video. So if the image is too big, it will affect your loading speed, and you don't want that. And the next thing you do, you go to the folder with all the images of your item and rename each picture so that the title contains a keyword. And you don't want to use duplicate titles for the pictures, rather every title has to be unique and descriptive. The reason we're doing that is that basically when Google scans your page, they look for all the text, and your image name is a text. Even though this text is not visible to the human eye, search engines can see it and take it into account when ranking your website. We want to make sure that each image is slightly different from the naming perspective as well as angle perspective, just so that Google and other search engines know that each of these images is slightly different, but they're still related to this product and this keyword. And obviously, you could automate this task with a Shopify plugin with AI, but it's not free. To find some of the plugins with the same functionality, just type image SEO rename in the Shopify App Store. But pay attention, most of these plugins will offer this renaming functionality only for your product's pictures. So they won't be able to do that for your blog or for your pages, or even perhaps for your collections. Now I'm uploading the pictures for my product, and the next thing I want to do is I want to make sure that they have alt tags. Now an alt tag is something that we put over the top of an image to tell the search engines what the image is. We need to give it a description so that when it takes a copy of that image, it knows exactly what it's about and it's gonna rank you for it. When we talk about SEO, we mostly visualize ranking on the search engine's results pages, right? But remember that it's not only the pages of your website that might rank. Your other assets, such as images, in our case, might also rank on their respective page, on the image search results pages. So if you have a Shopify store and you want organic traffic, you want your images to rank. Ideally, your images should be images that are related to the keywords you want to rank for. So there is no point in selling handbags and having a picture of plants in there and writing plants. We want to make sure that we have a lot of pictures of bags on your website, and we want to tell the search engines that this is a picture of a handbag or a messenger bag. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm going to show you how to do that now. We click the image that we want to add the alt text to, and then over on the right hand side, we're going to see something here, which is called Edit Alt Text. Now on this alt text, we want to make sure that we put the keyword we want to rank for, but we also want to be descriptive about what the image is. So here's something that I've written. Pink's women's leather purse front. So we're telling what this image is about, we're putting here our keyword, and we're also making sure that we add information about the angle of the image here. Now, image alt tags are super important and they will definitely help your website to rank. So take a look at the products that you already have listed and check whether alt tags are there. Because if they're not there, take the time and effort to update them on the product pages. Cool, let's continue. The next Shopify functionality that we need to discuss are pages. Now in Shopify, when you create content that is not a product or a collection, you have two options. You either create a page or a blog post. And you could use a page for several purposes. For instance, to create an About Us page, a content page, and you might also use it as a landing page in some templates. Every time you create a new page, remember that we have to follow the same optimization procedure. You have to first select the keyword for this page. Next, you have to integrate it into the URL slug, title, H1, meta description, and of course throughout the text. Please don't overdo it. It will not help you. Be reasonable. So now that you've done your collections pages and your product pages, you want to create fresh content every month because search engines reward you if your site is active and constantly updating. And the best way to create content regularly on your store is creating blog posts. In fact, over the last 3 months, I noticed that every day that I'm publishing a new blog post, I get more orders than the previous day when I didn't publish a blog post. My website though is 5 years old and it has pretty good rankings. So unfortunately, it doesn't mean that if you do the same thing, you will get the same result. But without creating new content regularly, you have no chance of ranking at all. And blog posts are a very powerful tool. For a fresh Shopify store, I would recommend creating blog posts at least 2 times a week. 3 times would be ideal, and if you're up for a challenge, you can do that 5 or 7 times per week. It won't hurt you. A lot of people ask, what is the optimal length of a blog post? This is a hot topic, and there's a lot of debate here. I'll create another video on this topic someday, so make sure you subscribe to the channel not to miss it. What I can recommend as a part of this Shopify SEO Optimization guide is keeping your posts over 700 words. Otherwise, Google's algorithm will have trouble understanding what your post is about. Now, coming up with ideas for blog posts can be a pretty daunting and expensive task since a lot of SEO tools start at 150. When I was a beginner several years back, I used a tool called Answer the Public. And this tool alone can provide dozens of ideas for your blog. I've just typed the term messenger bag and look what it got me. A lot of interesting ideas for the next piece of my content. So take this, create a schedule of blog posts and post them 2 times a week on your website, making sure that you include the keywords that you want to rank for in every post. And you'll need some patience since SEO is not fast. But once you do it regularly and you do the optimization for each piece of content that you're publishing on your website, the search engines will start to reward you. Keyword research for your blog posts is a little different for keyword research for your store. As I mentioned in the beginning, some of my blog posts were worth over $1 million in paid traffic ad spend. And I'll create another video on the principles I use for my blog posts to rank my content that high, so subscribe not to miss it. And last but not least is your website speed. To rank well, your website needs to be fast. Period. To check your current website speed, go to the Online Store tab. Ideally, your store speed has to be above 80. If it's lower, you need to dig a little deeper to see what's wrong. There are 2 things that might affect your store speed, and these are large images and unused plugins. These are the most widespread causes of low website speed. So if on this tab you see 20 or 30 or even 40, that means that probably you have some unused plugins and maybe you haven't been updating your theme for a while and it's causing your website to load slower. If you're technically savvy, PageSpeed Insights will help you to understand the exact reason why your website is slow. If you did all the recommendations and it didn't work, you might want to consider hiring a Shopify expert. And it's not as expensive as you might think. That was it. It took me over a week to create this video and I hope you enjoyed it. If it was useful, hit like and subscribe and we'll see each other next week. Bye.